Welcome everyone who's already joined. It is a pleasure to have you here. We'll wait another minute or two to allow for others to join, and then we'll get started with the event. All right, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all here for the kickoff of our Mentorship Program 2021. My name is Julia Zimmerman, and I'm a program officer at the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens. This mentorship program has been a long time in the making, and with many partners involved in helping it come to fruition. And we're very much looking forward to kicking it off today and to empowering young women leaders in the field of global health. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little idea of what you can expect from today. So we're going to have some wonderful welcome remarks from some guests and partners. Then we'll be switching to some icebreaker activities. So be prepared to share a little bit about yourself. And then we'll be having an introduction to the mentoring program and what you can expect, as well as a bit about the Ban Ki-moon Center for those that are not as familiar with our organization. And finally, some information on next steps and a chance for questions and answers and a bit of interaction at the very end. Before we get started, before we move to the first welcome remarks, I also want to have a special thank you to our partners and co-collaborators for this wonderful program, which is the Enlight University Network, a 9 European university network that has been launched recently this year and is working and doing tremendous work to empower young leaders and especially global citizens in Europe and beyond. We were very lucky for this program to partner with the University of Bordeaux, University of Göttingen, Ghent University and University of Groningen. And thank you, very special thank you to our professors that have been partnering with us for this. So a special shout out to University of Bordeaux professor Joanna Orn-Gliemen, Professor Ima Bargeritz from University of Göttingen, Oliver de Gaume from Ghent University, and Valentina Gayo from University of Groningen. So thank you all very much, because these, particularly these 4 individuals, and also Professor Dr. Stephanie Debetz, who will speak in a moment too, have been very instrumental in helping with the Ban Ki-moon Center in putting together this wonderful program. So with that, I would like to introduce our first welcome remarks speaker. We're very lucky today to have a video message from our wonderful co-chair, Heinz Fischer, the 11th president of the Republic of Austria and the co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens. Although he's not with us today, he wanted to share his remarks and warm welcomes and best wishes for this program. So with that, Katra, over to you to play the video.
Distinguished mentors and mentees, dear Madame Debetz from the University of Bordeaux, dear partners of the Enlight University Network. As co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center, it is my pleasure to welcome you today at the kick-off event for the Global Citizen Mentorship Program 2021, and to congratulate all mentees on their selection for this special program. As an associated partner of Enlight, the Ban Ki-moon Center has been very happy to have the opportunity to work together with the network for this exciting program. Thank you to all partners who supported in the preparations. The mentorship program will empower 21 young women leaders studying in a field related to global health. These promising students and young professionals have been paired with 21 expert mentors from Enlightened University Network and its global partners. I have seen that mentors and mentees have been selected from Europe, Latin America, and Africa. Thus, this is truly a global program. Mentors and mentees not only bring professional and academic expertise to the partnership, but also experiences from their regions. Following a year where our health and well-being have been challenged tremendously, the Ban Ki-moon Center seeks to use its platform to empower young women leaders in the field of global health. Today, still only a small percentage of leadership roles in global health care are held by women. This is despite of the fact that women make up the majority of the healthcare workforce globally, up to about 70%. It is more important than ever to strive for gender equality and push for more inclusive healthcare systems around the whole world. Since the year 2018, the Ban Ki-moon Center has been working to empower youth and women within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, of the United Nations and the Paris Climate Agreement. This program is directly related to many of the SDGs, in particular good health and well-being, SDG 3, gender equality, SDG 5, as well as reduced inequalities, SDG 10. Our previous mentoring programs have proved successful in providing capacity building, fostering leadership skills, and most of all, foreign new partnerships and friendships that build confidence and strength. Dear participants, I really look forward to seeing how this program develops in the next months and to learning about the Sdg Micro Projects you will be implementing as mentoring pairs. I would like to thank all the professors who have volunteered their time and energy to be a part of this program as mentors. Thank you for your dedication and leadership. I wish the mentoring pairs all the best for their partnerships, good health, and lots of success. Thank you and all the best.
So this was wonderful to hear some encouraging words from our co-chair and to think about just how global this program is, that we have members from the universities of Bordeaux in France, the University of Göttingen in Germany, Ghent University in Belgium, University of Groningen in the Netherlands, but also the University of Ibadan in Nigeria, University of Lomé in Togo, University of Mbarara in Uganda, Universidad de Cuenca in Ecuador, and Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana in Mexico. So this is really fantastic that we have such a global group of people coming together and talking about global health and exchanging on the topic and helping to bring up the next generation of leaders in the field. With that, I would like to now introduce our next speaker for welcome remarks. I'm very honored to welcome our dear friend and colleague, Dr. Stéphanie Debetz from the University of Bordeaux. She is the chair of the board of directors of the Enlightened Network and also vice president for the external relations at the University of Bordeaux. She's been instrumental in the setting up of this program and also in other collaborations that the Ban Ki-moon Center has with the University of Bordeaux, and it has been an absolute pleasure working with her for the past few years. So without further ado, Stéphanie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Julia, for your very kind introduction, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, I would like to start by thanking very warmly the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens and the co-chairs of the Ban Ki-moon Center, President Heinz Fischer and Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and particular thanks to President Fischer for this very encouraging and supportive introductory remark. Many thanks also to Monika Fröhler, CEO of the Ban Ki-moon Center, and the whole team, in particular Julia, you who have been so instrumental to setting up our collaborations. Indeed, this is the continuation of a series of collaborations that we had the privilege of establishing with you in the past months and years. And I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity for Enlight, for the partner universities of Enlight, and also for our global partners. If you allow, I will just say a few words on Enlight, as we have, I think, in this roundtable, a few newcomers and mentees who are maybe not yet familiar with Enlight, as well as global partners. Just a very short introduction. So Enlight is a European University Alliance, bringing together 9 universities from across Europe, spanning from east to west and north to south, that jointly train about 300 students a year. You have heard about some of the universities overall. There's University of Basque Country, Bordeaux, Bratislava, Island Galway, Ghent, Göttingen, Groningen, Tartu, Uppsala. The whole of Europe is, I should say, represented. And what really importantly brought together these 9 universities that are all comprehensive research-intensive universities, what brought them together in creating and setting up the Enlight Alliance, which is meant to be a long-standing, sustainable alliance that will develop over the coming years. What really brought them together is the deep commitment that they share to their social responsibility, and all of us being very strongly committed to addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. We also have the privilege in the Enlight University Alliance to have a series of very prominent associated partners, amongst which the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens. And so the project Enlight, which was funded initially by the Erasmus Plus mechanism, was officially started in November 2020, but we had let's say a kickoff week in March 2021, where we had the privilege of having a big support from the Ban Ki-moon Center, with also a very eloquent, supportive speech from Monika Fröhler, who's also a member of the External Advisory Board of Enlight. And so Enlight, in its educational component, aims to undertake really a fundamental institutional transformation of its universities by empowering the learners in these universities to become globally engaged citizens with knowledge, skills, and innovation potential that really helps them tackle these major societal transitions that we are facing today and tomorrow. More recently, Enlight was also funded under Horizon 2020 to deploy a comprehensive joint transformation agenda in research and innovation, which is in very strong synergy with the educational component and will be constructed with and for society. And during its initial construction, Enlight has decided to focus on a number of 5 priority challenges, 5 so-called flagship areas to experiment, test, and build capacity. And amongst these 5 flagship areas, there is health and well-being, and also equity that we just heard are really key to this program that we are launching today, and key, strongly linked to SDG 3, 5, and 10. So we are really truly honored to embark on this joint mentorship program on the topic of global health, and specifically targeting young women leaders. The unprecedented planetary crisis that we have gone through and are slowly coming out of, hopefully, has really shown that in order to address major societal health issues, health research will increasingly need to be global, and health teaching and basically public health initiatives will increasingly need to have a global scope. And we have also witnessed during this crisis that it has exacerbated inequities, including, and in particular, gender inequalities, including in the professional setting, further highlighting the importance of dedicating really this program to young women leaders. So the mentorship program, we will hear more about it, obviously will be led and coordinated and facilitated by the Ban Ki-moon Center in partnership with our network. And you already heard the various universities that are represented in the mentorship program. And there's an impressively wide range of topics that will be covered by the 21 outstanding women mentees, comprising mentees in the field of nursing, maternal and reproductive health, nutrition, infectious diseases, health equalities, you name it. So I would like to end by thanking very warmly again the Ban Ki-moon Center, my colleagues from the Enlight Alliance, in particular from the Health Core Group of the Enlight think tank, who have been extremely active and responsive in providing names and themselves volunteering for mentoring in this program, and also our global partners who have been very important to expand the scope beyond Europe to Africa and South America, as well as the enthusiastic mentees. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for these warm words of welcome and for sharing a bit about the Enlight University Network. I think that's very beneficial also for some that are not as familiar. And just to echo again, it's been absolutely wonderful to collaborate with Enlight for this program. And just as much as you thank the Ban Ki-moon Center, we also thank you for this wonderful opportunity to also shed light on a topic that is near and dear to us and to the Sustainable Development Goals, and very timely indeed. With that, I would like now to turn to our next welcome remarks from our very own CEO of the Ban Ki-moon Center, Monica Fröhle. Monica established the Ban Ki-moon Center some years ago now and has been building it up over the years, has quite a diverse background in multilateralism, and is really our fearless leader at the Ban Ki-moon Center. So with that, I will turn it over to Monica for some words.
Thanks so much, Julia, and of course, Stephanie, for your kind remarks. I'm happy to have heard Heinz Fischer as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered today, and it's really, I swear, it's a special moment because you have been chosen. And not only have you mentees been chosen, but you will be matched with professors who volunteer to guide you in your journeys. What you're in for, I can't yet predict whether friendships will derive out of this or whether a new massive piece of research will grace your career path. But what I do hope to predict is that you will make the most of this opportunity. One of my dear mentors ages ago told me, Monica, with every of these opportunities that you manage to obtain, be it a fellowship, a scholarship, a mentorship program, you get something like a new key, a key to another building, another village, maybe even a town, a whole country. Use the key well, because it's not given to everyone, and hence make the most out of it. As Heinz Fischer already said before, we are in special times, and all of us have felt it, all of us have seen it. And indeed, these special times, most of the frontline workers during COVID, during the pandemic, were women. We heard that from Heinz Fischer already before. What you might not yet know, and it really surprised me, the World Economic Forum said that before COVID, it would take us 99.5 years to close the gender gap. Now imagine after COVID, or now in the midst of it, the actual calculation is that we have lost one generation. So to close the gender gap in all sorts of issues will now take 136 years. So we have really gotten worse, much worse, a generation worse. Another factor that I was really surprised by is that the income by women that was lost during the COVID pandemic amounts up to $800 billion. Despite the fact that they are those that work at the front lines, despite the fact that they are those that carried often the brunt of the burden of the pandemic. Not saying that men didn't do a lot, they did. But then if you're looking at the global landscape of which countries did extremely well on fighting the pandemic, there is a correlation between female-led countries and countries that have really fought the pandemic well. And that might be coincidence, and it's probably too much of a simple formula, but it merits, I think, closer examination. So yes, we are in special times, and yes, the Ban Ki-moon Center wants to work for empowering young women to be leaders in global health. And so you were chosen from all corners of the world. And as I said before, I can't predict what this journey will bring. But what I can tell you is that on my journey that I was allowed to live, I had at least four incredible mentors. And I'm still in touch with all of them. And I am in touch with them via lunch meetings, sometimes phone calls, sometimes I only meet them once a year. One of them is Luis Gomez Echeverri. He's a Colombian former advisor to Kofi Annan. And he is this small guy, and he small guy, but big in mind and heart. And he taught me, for example, that you should never stop asking. If you're somehow at an obstacle that you can't overcome, don't stop asking for help. Ask for help. And Luis has done incredible things like founding the UNEP program and, as I said, advising Kofi Annan and later on Ban Ki-moon. Another mentor of mine is Margit. Margit is currently ambassador of Austria to Slovenia, and she was the chief of protocol of the IAEA. And she was, for example, teaching me that even if you are facing hardships with people, still turn the other cheek. Try to be as constructive and as effective and as professional as you would like the other to see to be. So she was more of an emotional mentor to me, and I am very appreciative of that. And of course, there is still Marcus, and then there is Andrea, and there are many others. So I do hope that some of you will look back on that journey with your mentor, with your professor, and maybe forge a relationship that lasts longer than just the period of the mentorship program. So I do hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you will get to know very interesting individuals and that you will make the most out of this chance where another key has been given to you. So all the best. And of course, big thanks to our dear partners at the universities. Stephanie, I have to mention your name because you have been instrumental to this to come together. And of course, Olivier and so many others from the other universities. And last but not least, Julia, you are the mastermind behind all of this. Thanks for your very extensive efforts to make this happen today and for the months to come. So good luck to all of you, and I'm looking forward to what you are all about.
Thank you so much, Monica, for these words and also for sharing a personal story about how mentoring has also impacted your own life. I think mentoring comes into our lives sometimes in a more, you could say, formal setting, like we're setting up here for you, and sometimes in a less formal setting. So sometimes you meet somebody that sets an example for you, that gives you some really important words of wisdom and pieces of advice. And I hope that the mentoring partnerships that we have created for you, that we've helped bring together today, and for the months to come, will also leave you with thoughts, and not just for the mentees, but I also hope that the mentors can learn from their mentees a bit, because many of you are working with mentees that are from different countries, different universities. No one's paired with a mentee from their same university. So you have the opportunity to really learn from someone new and from a different regional context, potentially even as well. So great opportunities for exchange. Next thing we're going to do, I want to learn a little bit more about you. So we have an engaging activity with Mentimeter. Some of you will maybe be familiar with it. I'll ask Katra now to share the screen. So you can go to www.mentee.com, or you can just hold up your phone and go ahead and scan the QR code, and I'll take you right there. And if you type it into your phone, then you'll need to enter the code, which is 83679681. So I'll give you a second to get there and leave this up, because we're going to have some polling via this tool. And just also so you know, this is anonymous at this point. There'll be a chance later during the Q&A and discussion where if you'd like to raise your hand and make a contribution with your video and sound and share your thoughts or your questions, that will also be possible later. But this also is completely anonymous, so feel free to write your thoughts without worrying that it's tied to your name. But yes. Okay, I hope everyone has joined now. It will remain at the top of the screen in case you haven't. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, wow, we already have participants starting. Great, so where in the world are you joining us from? Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Bordeaux, Kurdistan. Wow, okay. Pakistan, Austria, Togo, Ecuador, the Reunion Islands. Beautiful Ghent. Big fan of where they're from, that's lovely. Mexico City, Leeuwarden, I guess that's a city. Wonderful. France, great. And of course, we're here in Austria joining you from beautiful Austria, where it is the height of summer and yet stormy. Uganda, wonderful. Great to see. And so many people also from Belgium have joined today, which is great. The University of Ghent is here in force. Fantastic. Great. All right, we can go on to the next one then. The next slide, perfect. So I'm curious because, as I said, maybe you've had an opportunity to do a mentorship before, maybe formal or informal, but have you ever participated in a program before, either as a mentor or as a mentee, or is this your first time? So it looks like we have some that have done it before. So you'll have some experiences and some ideas you can bring in, but also some new people joining the mentoring that haven't had maybe this opportunity before to either mentor or be a mentee. Great engagement. It's great to see that everyone's participating. I see 25 people have already participated. Fantastic. So 17 have already done some sort of mentorship program. So I'm sure also then you'll have great feedback and ideas too on how we can do this program best. We've already given you a lot of context. You've received information materials from me, you've received an agreement from me, you've been connected with your mentee and mentor via email. But along the path, I'm very curious also to learn from your experiences in different mentoring programs. Great, we can go to the next slide. And this one's an open question. So what are you most looking forward to about this program? I'll give you a second to write your answers. Learning from my mentee. That's very nice from a mentor. Guidance and inspiration. Networking and sharing experiences and knowledge. A rewarding scientific and human experience. Learn from young future leaders, building meaningful relationships. Intersectionality, yes, very much so a theme. Inspiration, connecting with a leader in my field, taking on a project to channel my passions. Great, so someone's already excited about the Sdg Micro Projects, fantastic. Sharing ideas and experiences. Inspiration, guidance. Building meaningful relationships. I'm looking forward to learning more from my mentee, sharing knowledge, co-creating, sharing knowledge, meeting new people and becoming familiar with a new institution. That's also great because there's new institutions that maybe you aren't as used to working with. Connect with people, learn from diverse people, share experiences and stories with young people. Creating a network. Yes, we very much hope that this will also serve, so not just your mentee and the networks that they may or may not introduce you to, but the network of the actual mentoring pairs and this cohort of the mentoring program. We hope that you will also network with each other and from that form a bigger web of passionate young people and guidance, people giving them guidance in the field of global health. Develop intercultural skills. Learn from diverse people. Connecting with people, insightful and experience. Well, these are all really great things. It seems like everyone has a great idea of what they're most looking forward to for this program. To the final question, what do you hope to learn from your mentor or mentee? So we already heard that that's something that many of you are looking forward to, is learning from each other. But what do you hope to learn? What would be a goal or an idea, something you want to learn from each other? Everyone's thinking about this one. New ideas and experiences in global health. Local practices and solutions, guidance on how to make my work most impactful, more lasting, and reach more people. How to implement a project, how to manage my time and energy. to learn how to implement and translate research into practice in the global arena, their experience and passion for women in global health leadership, to inspire, to touch the world, planning, time management, new ideas, how to amplify the voices of others without putting yourself completely in the front, and how to, that needs to be scrolled, I can't read it yet. Maybe you can scroll, Katra, so I can read the next ones. How to connect people to collaborate. I would like to learn how the program works and how this program will build new ideas and experiences, how health is not universal but linked to a particular place, how approaches are and how to empower young women, practical experiences and insights. Yeah, so I'm seeing also a lot of comments on really learning how to localize to different contexts. And yes, the idea of global health, but it needs to be applied to different contexts. There are health issues that touch many, many people all over the world, but still it depends on the context that you're in, on how it needs to be dealt with. Different approaches to tackle a certain problem, how to better engage and exchange with young people from other regions in the world, how to have a sustainable and positive impact on people's health worldwide, to contribute to making the world a better place. That's great. Journey of my mentor in achieving SDG, networking with experts. So also learning about the Sustainable Development Goals, that's a part of the capacity building and linking your work more and more to what these goals are all about, and the 2030 agenda. Different approaches to tackle a problem, yes. Great, this all sounds really good. So this is great first brainstorming, things that you could think about already talking about when you have that first meeting with your mentor and mentee is what your goals. You'll be setting goals, what type of things you want to learn from each other, what type of maybe outcomes you want to have as a mentoring pair, expectations. That's all a part of the mentoring agreement, which you received from me. So I hope that this already gets some creative ideas going. Good. With that, we'll go back to the presentation. And now we have some time in the agenda for an introduction to the Ban Ki-moon Center a little bit for those that are not as familiar with our work, and then about the actual mentorship program in particular. Then there'll be a chance for a question and answer, as I said, so please do keep those in mind. If you have things that come up already, you can write them in the chat, but please do know we'll have a question and answer opportunity coming up at the end of the presentation. So as was already mentioned, the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens was founded in January 2018 by our co-chairs here pictured, so former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and the 11th President of Austria, Heinz Fischer. Our mission is to empower women and youth with sustainable development goals, SDG knowledge, 21st century skills, and global citizen values to live in a peaceful and prosperous world while leaving no one behind. Our work is guided by the 2030 Agenda, so the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement. Next slide, please. Here you can see some of our faces of our lovely board members. We have members from different private sector. We have members from different organizations, international organizations, ambassadors, including that of the permanent representative of Kuwait to Austria and the United Nations, and Korea. We also have Jeffrey Sachs, who some of you may be familiar with, is a very well-known economics professor and a professor at the University of Columbia, who founded the Sustainable Development Solutions Network. But we also have members of the youth organizations around the world, for example, the Scouts, Global Citizen, which you may have heard of, which does a lot of work in galvanizing commitments from governments to take action for ending poverty and different sustainable development goals. And they do this with the use of celebrities and music to get young people to take action, to earn tickets and opportunities to go see Beyonce perform on stage or something like this. It's a very cool, very creative organization. And we have just a variety of other members that are working and are very passionate about our goal and our mission. Next slide, please. We already talked about the Sustainable Development Goals. I think maybe some of you are familiar with these, but maybe others are not so much. So these goals were established in 2015 at the United Nations General Assembly. They were agreed upon by all of the countries, which was a tremendous accomplishment, and of course required many multitudes of negotiations on each and every one of the Sustainable Development Goals, and which have also their own targets under each of them and their own indicators. So it's really a vast number of actual things rather than just the 17 goals that you see here. And the idea is that we should all work to achieve these. The global community works to achieve these by 2030. So if you look at that, we're in 2021 now, it's coming up quickly. So we have a lot to do. They were predated by the Millennium Development Goals, which also particularly targeted extreme poverty and did quite a tremendous lift in relieving a lot of extreme poverty around the world. But they didn't address a lot of the other issues that still needed to be tackled, particularly in the global south, and with global south being a part of the actual creation and instigation of what these goals should be. So the Sustainable Development Goals are, you could say, this is our roadmap, this is our global plan for a sustainable future for all of us. And what was already said is that SDG 3 in particular, so our co-chair Heinz Fischer said that, good health and well-being, but also SDG 4, quality education is also related to this project, but particularly also SDG 5, gender equality, and SDG 10, reduced inequalities. So those are the SDGs that this program really tackles, and SDG 3, of course, good health and well-being, is very near and dear to the idea of global health. Next slide, please. And the other framing agreement that we work with at the Ban Ki-moon Center and have a lot of our work related to climate action, particularly climate adaptation. So we very much refer to the Paris Climate Agreement as one of our other framework agreements that we work with. Next slide, please. Now just a tiny bit about our work, because of course you can read more in our annual reports and also on our website, but just to give you a taste, we have 4 pillars of work. We do work in leadership, which is supporting our co-chairs in their efforts and their leadership roles, but also the fellowships, scholarships, and mentorship program that you're participating in today. These are part of our leadership. We're trying to help empower young women leaders, but also youth in general, to become active global citizens, to remove barriers, to support them in taking action for the Sustainable Development Goals. In education, we try and create education opportunities, and also particularly are working on global citizenship education, so GCED, and education for sustainable development, and trying to make sure that those find a place in curricula around the world, both in the informal and formal sectors of education, because we believe that it's important that we build the capacity from young all the way up to old, that everyone can tackle the problems of today, and that means building capacity for the SDGs, building behaviors, cognitive skills, socio-emotional skills, for us to be able to really learn and tackle the problems that we have, like climate change, that is particularly prevalent. Advocacy work, we do a variety of different campaigns for youth and women, climate adaptation, stopping violence against women and girls, the Orange the World campaign. We also do stuff with sustainable cities, do work with sustainable cities, and other global citizenship action. And lastly, we have a pillar on peace and security, where we really work to advocate for and empower youth and women to be decision makers at the tables. So actually being a part of the peace negotiations, being a part of resolutions, that they're actually given a meaningful place to be at the strategy setting table at the negotiations. That's something that is very important to our co-chairs and very much also a part of our work. Next slide, please. And here's just a little array of some of our programs that we have. You'll see that we have climate justice webinar series, a scholarship program, fellowship program, executive training on climate adaptation, an elevating agricultural adaptation program, which is with the Gates Foundation, Mission 4.7, which is working on exactly that transformative education, global citizenship education, education for sustainable development. We're very happy to have Dr. Debetz as actually one of our members of the education task force for Mission 4.7. So Enlight is included in this way and also in our work for Mission 4.7. But to learn more about our work, you can read our 2020 annual report, visit our website, and of course, the mentors and mentees will be learning more and more through the process about what we do, and particularly Sdg Micro Projects. Next slide, please. So these are Sdg Micro Projects. Sdg Micro Projects are something that you as a mentoring pair will get to do. They're a small project, small to medium-sized project, depending on your ambition and what you feel is possible for you, where you tackle one or more of the SDGs in a local, regional, or global context. In the past, we've had SDG micro projects that have ranged from podcasts about the SDGs that help raise awareness, to peace building activities, to vlogging about taboos in Cambodia, as Catherine Harry did. You see on the map, we had a scholar did a recycling program in Ghana, in his home country, and that was part of his SDG micro project. Creating sustainable resources for light through solar lighting was also done in Ghana by a former scholar of ours. And then up at the top, you see mapping the SDGs. We actually had a mentoring pair. We had a mentoring program here in Austria with the Muslim Youth of Austria the past 2 years. And our mentoring pair here, Adriana Carr and Yosra Ibrahim, they did a project together where they actually mapped our SDG micro projects using GIS, Geographic Information System tools, so that we could actually visualize on a globe, which you can see on our website, where SDG micro projects at the Ban Ki-moon Center have taken place. So even though we've only had around even under 100 SDG micro projects carried out, they've reached 700,000 people. And this is really, to us, tremendous, because even though it is a lower, you would think, a smaller contribution, the word micro makes you think it's smaller, the amount of reach it can have, even with a low financial component, so maybe even with very little input from resources, you can still have a huge reach if you're targeting the right audience for your work. So this should all be encouraging and maybe just already get you thinking. There will be a workshop on how to make your SDG micro project, so you don't need to already have the perfect plan right now. But you can visit our website and take a look at our SDG micro project page and maybe already get some inspiration about what might be interesting for you. Since you're all located in different parts of the world and you and your mentor are not going to probably be able to meet physically, you also have to work with that reality and find potential virtual ways, a virtual workshop, a research project, things like this that you could do together that could count as your SDG micro project. So just to already get thinking going, this should give you some ideas. Next slide, please. So in addition to our 700,000 people reached with our micro projects, we also have reached 40 different countries at the Ban Ki-moon Center through our different work and outreach activities, over 500 plus speaking engagements. Up till now, we've already had mentees and mentors, 81 mentees and mentors, 56 scholars and fellows, and now this year we have additional ones coming in. Like I said, 96 SDG micro projects, but more are coming because we have more that are being prepared already by scholars and soon fellows and soon our mentoring pairs. The co-chairs have multiple leadership roles. We also have online courses that are well attended. And we have, of course, donor organizations that are very important to making our work happen. Next slide. Now on to what's very pertinent for you, the mentorship program. So here are the 4 main components of the program that you can look forward to. The first and most vital is the individual mentoring sessions. So between now, the start of the program, and January 2022, so over 6 month period, because we factored in that over the summer, there are holidays, maybe people are harder to reach. So we have to make sure that as of August, you have that 6 months to work on your project together, but that you have individual mentoring sessions. And we recommend that those are maybe once or twice a month, if it's possible for you. And that's really up to each mentoring pair to discuss and find the best way forward. So I give the suggestion of 1 to 2 times a month, but it's really up to each mentoring pair to see what is feasible. Regularity with mentoring sessions is most successful, because then you can really build a rapport and work towards your goals together, particularly also when you're working together on a project. It's important to touch base. The second component is the Sdg Micro Project. So we just talked about that a little bit. You will get a workshop in August from the Ban Ki-moon Center on exactly how to do that, how to fill out a proposal form together, what would be expected. And then you'll have from August into January to implement the project. And then there will be a reporting process, filling out a report together afterwards. So very much this should be a collaboration. So both mentoring partners should work together on the project, but the mentee, as much as they also should reach out to their mentor for the individual mentoring sessions and take some responsibility there, because it's also important that you find time that is working for the professor that is so kindly taken the time to work with you. Also, the mentee should make sure that they're the one reaching out and also trying to make sure that they're filling out the Sdg Micro Project form in a timely manner and taking care to make sure you stay on the timeline. The mentee seminars, so these will be particularly for mentees, so we can look forward to that. Those will happen between August and December of this year. There'll be 2 to 3 of these on specific topics related to global health and leadership. So the more information will come directly to the mentees about that. And then in January, potentially there will be, or early February, depending, but I've put January for now. Well, there would be a closing event. So this will also be a virtual event, and the mentees and mentors will come together. We will showcase your projects. We will hear about your partnerships. We will celebrate by also presenting the mentees with a certificate of achievement signed by our 2 co-chairs of the Ban Ki-moon Center. And that will close the program. But we hope that once the program closes, that, as Monica was alluding to, maybe some of these partnerships continue to thrive and these people stay a part of each other's lives long after the program has ended. Next slide, please. So what is mentoring? I know many of you have already participated from the poll I can see in a mentoring program, but just so that we're all on the same page, I wanted to share a couple definitions and ideas of what mentoring can be. It's a personalized relationship and exchange between an experienced professional, the mentor or professor in this case, and a less experienced individual, the mentee or the student in this case. And we have students, it should also be said, that are from bachelor's level all the way up to PhD. So it's really a wide age range and experience range. So each mentoring pair will have to figure out together what is the most useful time that they can spend together, working together. So just to keep in mind, it's really a variety of experiences and ages that are a part of the program. One-on-one informal transfer of knowledge, experiences, and ideas. And then I found a definition from Eric Parslow, so one of the founders of the European Mentoring and Coaching Council, that I liked a lot. So I'll share that one with you. And that's providing support and encouragement to help an individual grow, maximize their potential, improve their performance, and become the person that they want to be. And particularly also, it can be a vehicle for empowerment. And I think in any field where the top leadership is primarily held by men, it can be hard for a young woman particularly to see themselves in that leadership position. So the mentors are there, many of whom are women, but not all. We have wonderful, fantastic male mentors that are also joining us. But that they can help you see, hopefully mentees, yourself in those leadership roles one day, and that they can give you that encouragement and that boost that helps you take it the rest of the way, and that you can really feel empowered to do so. Next slide, please. So as we're coming closer to the end of my presentation here, the next steps that you would have are to arrange your first meeting with your mentor. I've already seen, as I'm in CC in some of your emails, I've seen many of you are already working on arranging your first meetings. I know it's tricky with the holidays coming up. So the summer holidays, maybe some are traveling, maybe some are out of office, also the break in the school year. But try and please arrange your first meeting by early August so that you've met once before we have the workshop. Work together to fill out the mentor-mentee agreement, and please send that back to me by July 11th if possible. If you should need more time, just please let me know. and think about ideas for your project and keep them in mind for the workshop on August 18th. So this is now the date that is set for the workshop. This would be ideally for mentors and mentees, please both to take the time. Just like with this meeting, if you're not able to join, it will be recorded. But it will be, of course, very beneficial to have you there, because then you can ask questions in person and be able to get the answers that you would need. And in case of questions, I'm the person to be in contact with. So please take note of my email address. You've already received emails from me, but I'm very much happy. I will be guiding you through this mentoring program. I will also be checking in occasionally on the mentoring pairs. And if anything should come up, if anything is not going smoothly, if you're having difficulties actually connecting with your mentor or mentee respectively, please reach out to me so that I can assist in that process. Next, please. Great. So with that, we've come to the end of my presentation, and I would like to switch to a Q&A. So I encourage you now to use the raising hand function or to write a question in the chat if that's more comfortable for you. But it would also be nice to hear maybe one or two of the mentors or mentees that would like to share a little bit about their reflection right now, how they're feeling about the program, what they're excited about. And so let's see if there are any that would be interested in sharing some words. Yes, Olivier, please.
I could not find the raise hand button here, so I'm just the old-fashioned raising hand way. So hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know where everybody is based, so hi everyone. My name is Olivier de Gomme. I am professor in global reproductive health at Ghent University in Belgium. I would first and foremost would like to thank the organizers from BKMC for this fantastic opportunity, and also of course Stephanie in the context of Enlight for bringing that in. I think it was like 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, when this idea emerged within an Enlight group, and I thought, well, why not? I mean, this could be a nice low-hanging idea, and seeing how things evolved and what this has become now, it's kind of, why did nobody else think of this approach before? And so I have to say that I'm really a big fan of what you have been doing so far. How you managed to bring all these young women together here. I'm extremely looking forward to this type of exchange, creating this dynamic. We have a master's in global health at university, and some of our students are here, and in which we really see how this interpersonal exchange, this one-on-one moments are so important and so much more than just the teaching aspect alone. So I really think that these could be life changers, these moments that we're having now, and I would really like to thank you very much for providing this opportunity. So I'm looking very much forward to this. Unfortunately, I see that my mentee is not here today, but I'm really looking forward to meeting with her in the next weeks. So thanks a lot for organizing this, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Olivier, and thank you to you as well, because Olivier did a lot in helping gather also mentors for this program, and we're very much appreciative in bringing in also counterparts from South America. So we really appreciate that, Olivier. Thank you. Are there others? I see it's hard to raise hand as well. I don't see the function. So if you want to just unmute yourself and say something, that's also very welcome. Tiago, I see your hand raised.
Yes, I guess I've been spending too much time in Zoom, so I could find it. But no, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you also from my side. It's a great opportunity. I'm certain I will grow a lot and learn from this experience with my mentee. I noted something curious in a program that is aimed at promoting young women. And then we look at the board of the Ban Ki-moon and we see 1/3 are women and the rest are men. So I think there's a lot to change there as well. But no, it's just a funny thing to notice. But I am happy to be here. I'm happy that there's other male colleagues participating as well. I think the humanity benefits a lot from the interaction between men and women. And so I think we all have a place and a room to contribute to these types of programs. So it's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiago. Monica, do you want to react?
Oh, I absolutely want to react because Tiago, you are speaking from my heart, my words. And yes, indeed, the composition of the Ban Ki-moon Center board is lacking women. And yet there is the pragmatism of the beginning days that happened when Sdg Ban was turning to his mentors, because some of them literally are his friends and companions and mentors for the years that he was a Secretary General. And then several women said they are on so many boards that they can't make it to our board as well. So that was a bit disappointing, but your point is very well taken. We have actually announced, and the co-chairs as well, whoever, we don't get rid of any one of our board members, so it's, there is no cycle really yet. So whoever will join, however, in the future has to be a woman. And we are already eyeing at certain individuals, but you're so right, Tiago, yes. And not to balance it, but to say that sometimes this is even mentioned in a very kind of accredited version. The whole Ban Ki-moon Center, for the longest time, the whole secretariat was all female. And so sometimes with a smile, the board members said, but this is discriminatory as well. Yeah, we are working on it, and I definitely agree, more women to the top. And so does Ban Ki-moon. He's proud that he managed under his tenure in the UN to have 41% of leadership positions filled with women. It's by far not enough, but at least he raised it from an even lower number to 41. And now that Antonio Guterres took over, he managed to have the 50-50 parity installed for leadership positions at the UN. It's a beginning, but it's only a beginning. And yes, the board is one of my preoccupations to change.
So there you have it. There's the reaction. Great. Maybe is there another, maybe a mentee that wants to share something? Is anyone feeling a little brave?
There's Chiara and Shireen, Julia.
Yeah, okay. Chiara, do you want to start?
Yes, I can do so. I am really feeling honored to be here and having the chance to meet you all. Coming from an interdisciplinary study, I'm really looking forward to gain more expertise in the field. And yeah, it was a great opening, and yeah, looking forward to the workshops as well.
Thank you, Chiara. Shireen.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for selecting me. I'm super excited for this learning opportunity, and I hope, and I'm sure whatever I will learn, I am in a capacity of teaching nursing students as well. So I'm thinking like whatever I'll gain, I am in a position to transmit to other young leaders as well. So I am quite hopeful towards this mentorship program. Thank you so much.
Great. Of course, we hope all of you will be multipliers then to the next and next and next, and keep sharing what you learn. Rosalie.
Yes, thank you so much as well. I'm really honored and humbled to be chosen for this. I'm doing the same studies as Chiara, so so I'm also like really excited to see how all these different perspectives fall into each other, and doing such a project. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time, and then this passed by, and I was like, So I'm really excited to do this project, and thank you for the opportunity.
Great to have you with us. Fantastic. Any others? Also mentors that want to say something? Danielle?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. And this really came at an amazing time, because recently I've been thinking a lot about initiating a project related to decolonization and improving equality in global health. And just at that moment, Olivier sent me a message about this program, and I heard about the Sdg project, and I thought this is the ideal opportunity to get some guidance and figure this out.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. That's awesome. Am I missing any other hands? Well, I'm sure you will have the opportunities to meet with your mentors soon, mentees, and to learn from each other, to start and kick off this exciting partnership for the next months. With that, we have only one thing left on our agenda, so we're finishing earlier. I hope that's also good for everyone. But we have one thing left on our agenda, and that is to take a group photo. So I will turn, it's a very important one. It's a very important one on our agenda. I will turn to our comms officer, Katre, to coordinate our group photo taking.
Okay, everybody smiling. Is everyone on? Yes, we can see everybody, I think. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One moment. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. We got it, Julia.
Thank you, Katra. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to our wonderful mentors for taking the time, for joining us, for all of your energy and dedication. It's really, to me, this is such an inspiring thing to see seasoned professionals that really care to bring up the next generation. This isn't to be taken for granted. This is a fantastic opportunity that you as mentees have to interact with such generous academics and change makers themselves. So please seize the opportunity, take advantage of this chance, and enjoy every bit of it that you can. And until we see each other next in August, you will hear from me via email. You will receive links to this recording. And please do reach out to me when questions arise. It's a pleasure to guide you on this process. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.